Hey guys, alright, so today's video will be another tropical update video, and we have had some big developments definitely in the tropics, but before we get started, I would like to remind you guys to check out my second YouTube channel where I talk everything and anything about movies. It's called Everything Movies. I will post the link for so you can click on it to go to that page, so you can consider subscribing to that channel as well. Today's video for that channel is going to be really big because we got a huge announcement about the new Bond film, so please consider clicking that link and going and subscribing to that channel. Alright, so let's get right into this video. So, again, well, as you can see, while I was just talking, you noticed that, well, we have a new tropical depression in the Western Caribbean, Tropical Depression 25. It's at 35 miles per hour, moving at, it's at 1,005 millibars for its pressure, and it's moving to the northwest at 9 miles per hour. So it's moving kind of slowly in a decent clip. It's not too slow, not too fast, really. And then, of course, we have this other disturbance out in the Eastern Caribbean that now has a 10 to 40% chance of formation within the next 2 to 5 days. So the chances for that disturbance, this other second disturbance, its chances for development is slowly increasing as well. The second disturbance, the National Hurricane Center says that it's a tropical wave that is producing widespread cloudiness, showers, and thunderstorms over the Eastern Caribbean Sea, with locally heavy rainfall and gusty winds affecting portions of the ABC Islands, the Lesser Antilles, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. Environmental conditions are expected to become a little more conducive for development, and a tropical depression could form next week while the system moves westward or east-northwest, or, sorry, what am I saying, east-northwestward? That's not even a direction. Or west-northwestward at about 15 miles per hour across the central and western Caribbean Sea. Real quick, just to finish going over this second disturbance behind Tropical Depression 25, this is its area of where it will likely be able to develop. Its best chance of where it will be able to develop. You can see in the north central and northwestern Caribbean Sea, and it looks like it will be heading generally much farther towards the north than Tropical Depression 25, so it has a better chance of heading out into the Gulf and really having a better chance than Tropical Depression 25 to really try and strengthen more. Let's go and talk about TD25. And here's the cone forecast for TD25. This is its second. This is its first cone forecast. This is its second cone forecast. Actually, it's still a tropical depression. The new 5 p.m. advisory just came out because it's literally just about 5 right now. And you can see that it is expected actually to become a tropical storm fairly soon. Could be by tomorrow morning, in fact, that we wake up and it's a tropical storm. So most likely, once we wake up tomorrow, or at least by the 11 a.m. advisory, we should expect this to actually potentially be called Gamma, the third name on the Greek alphabet list. Yes, we are now well into the Greek alphabet. That's crazy. This season has been truly, truly record-breaking and so active. You can see, though, the National Hurricane Center has it staying at tropical storm status, kind of brushing the very northern tip of the Yucatan and then curving back towards the west into the Bay of Campeche and into the very southwestern part of the Gulf of Mexico, where it will potentially have its really best chance actually of development. So once it gets into this area here, it will have its best chance of trying to maybe have a run at hurricane status if it is able to do so. So that is what the NHC is showing right now for TD25, so that is very interesting. Just for fun, kind of here's the, as of right now, the wind speed, tropical storm force wind speed probabilities. You can see the Yucatan Peninsula here for the Yucatan part of the Mexico has up to a 30 to 40% chance of development. Oh God, man, I am so off today. 30 to 40% chance of tropical storm force winds. Yeah. So, yeah, it has less than 50% chance of tropical storm force winds, but we'll probably see that at least in gusts, though, not sustained. Now let's go to tropical tidbits. And first of all, actually, let me show you what it's looking like on the satellite imagery. You can see it definitely looks like it is definitely a tropical depression. Has great circulation, great very large amounts of convection around the center and all around it. And over time, it will start to get a bit more condensed to be able to strengthen further to become a tropical storm. So overall, it's looking great on satellite imagery. Now, let me show you what the hurricane model track guidance is showing for the system, and then I'll show you what the GFS ensemble model track guidance is showing, then the GEPS or CMC ensemble model track guidance is showing, and then the intensity guidance. I'll show you that last out of these four images. So here's first the hurricane model track guidance. You can see they all take it generally up towards the north, pretty much scraping the Yucatan, very northern tip of the Yucatan, and then curving it back towards the west into the Western Gulf and the Bay of Campeche. So the models generally have a very good hold on where they think this will go. You can see the GEFS model ensemble track guidance has it continue towards the generally the west, then curving more directly north, scraping the Yucatan, and then curving back towards the west. Now it gets very spread out with the GEFS ensembles here, either having it continue into the north and heading much farther north towards the Gulf Coast of the United States, or curving far west down into Mexico. So we'll have to see, though it looks more likely that it will just curve directly west after pretty much just after it scrapes with the Yucatan, and then goes back down to the west into Mexico. Now here's the GEPS ensemble model track guidance, and they have they have the system generally pretty much going directly now towards the north and west, directly right across the Yucatan and into the Gulf, and then curving into the central Gulf towards the Gulf Coast of the U.S., or at least towards that area of the U.S. around Florida, again towards between Louisiana and Florida, along the Gulf Coast there and the west coast of Florida. I don't foresee this actually happening, honestly. So I think what the hurricane model track guidance is showing, and what the GEFS model track guidance is showing, is pretty much the two best opinions on where this will go. Here is the current model intensity guidance. You can see pretty much all of the models take it into tropical storm status, so it is for sure certain by the time we get really 12 hours out from now, by pretty much when we wake up tomorrow, at least by the 11 a.m. advisory tomorrow morning, this will be a tropical storm. And then even one model has it getting into Category 1 hurricane status, so there is that slight potential, that we could maybe see the system try and make a run for hurricane status. We'll have to see. It really all depends on how much it interacts with the Yucatan and how much time it has over water, and then just generally see how it does with the conditions it's in. But it definitely could really try and make a run at hurricane status. We'll have to see. That is going to be something very, very interesting to watch for. Now let's look at what the GFS and CMC models are showing on tropical tidbits, and then I'll show you what the European model is also showing for this system, but I'll show you that on pivotal weather. Alright, so first we're looking at the GFS model. You can see there is all that precipitation moisture with Tropical Depression 25, and as we move this forward out in time, you can see the GFS model has it really tightening up, barely scraping that very tip of the Yucatan, and then just kind of stalling out a little bit there just to the north of the Yucatan, and then curving back towards the west and back down into the Bay of Campeche and dying out and bring its remnant moisture and rainfall towards Mexico. But then it's showing really not much of anything for that second disturbance, by the way, just to have a little bit of a comment on that. But yeah, that is what the GFS is showing there for TD25. You can see it, again, it goes pretty much directly north pretty soon, becomes a tropical storm, hangs out around just north of the Yucatan, and then back towards the west and starts to die off a bit. So it doesn't look like it seems that the models are showing it being all that favorable for the system to last all that long, but who knows? We'll just have to see, really, especially once it gets past the Yucatan and it starts hanging out around the southern and western Gulf of Mexico, see what it does there. That'll be really the key time frame to see what will happen with it and how strong it will eventually get and just how much longer it will last. So that is what the GFS is showing for that system once again, and now I'll show you what the CMC model is showing for the system. So again, there's all that precipitation moisture with TD25. Bring this forward out in time. The CMC model again has that the TD25 crossing the Yucatan and then really dying out, and then that second system actually takes over and becomes a much stronger system and heads towards the Gulf Coast of the U.S. Now that's still somewhat far out and not for sure going to happen. Um, so that is that's definitely on the table for the potential of where it could go, but not a likelihood, and definitely where that system's gonna go. We don't even know if this second disturbance behind TD25 will really even develop all that far, really. So we're just gonna have to really monitor both that system and TD25, of course. Now we're looking at the European model, and I bring this forward in time, going through today, tomorrow, and then you can see it's crossing the Yucatan, and then not really doing much of anything, kind of siding with what the CMC is showing a bit, and just crossing the Yucatan and just really dying out there. You can see at the bottom of your screen, really just dying out, bring all that remnant moisture and precipitation down into Mexico. I can't really give you a direct shot on this because the European model doesn't really allow me to, even on pivotal weather where I am able to show you the precipitation for the European model. But if I go forward in time to show you the second disturbance, it also doesn't exactly show it becoming much of anything, just kind of a pretty weak low pressure system out in the Gulf south of the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama coast. So again, that's what the European model is showing for TD25. TD25 looks like it will likely, honestly, peak out at around maybe a mid-range, most likely a mid-range tropical storm, maybe a strong tropical storm. I really am not all that confident in the fact that it will maybe even get to hurricane status. That doesn't look like that there is any real chance of that happening, but who knows? But honestly, really, I think TD25 will likely peak out at tropical storm status at around mid-range tropical storm status in the end. It's 2020 Atlantic hurricane season Wikipedia page. We have had a total of 25 depressions now that TD25 has formed, and now of course we still have a total of 23 named storms, likely going to be 24 named storms by the time we get to tomorrow. And then of course we have a total of 8 hurricanes so far this season, total of 2 major hurricanes so far this season, total of 138 fatalities this season, and total damage of $24.225 billion in damage. It's been a fairly damaging season, nothing crazy, so even though the season has been extremely hyperactive, tons of activity, getting through the entire pre-designated list of names and getting to the Greek alphabet names, the ACE is definitely not as high as you would think. It's only at 101.08 units. Will likely go up. The ACE amount will likely go up a bit more with whatever rest of tropical activity we will see between now and November 30th. But I don't foresee it going up all that much more, to be honest, and as well as the fact that a lot of these systems were just generally weak anyway. We had very short-lived and weak systems in general, with some hurricanes and longer-lasting systems. 2 major hurricanes that lasted fairly long, but not as long as we would think, honestly. Especially Laura only lasted 9 days. Think about it, Laura only lasted 9 days. Irma, Dorian lasted like at least a week, up to even 2 weeks, honestly. So, really, it seems like we've got to get a Category 5 this year to really have that one long-tracked, long-lived, strong system to really boost everything up. But I don't foresee any good potential of having a Category 5 hurricane this year. I think we've already lost that chance. So that is definitely a good thing. We definitely don't need to see a Category 5 hurricane occur, especially if it's going to be potentially devastating any land areas, the U.S. or anywhere else in the Caribbean or Mexico, so that is definitely a good thing. But again, in general, I mean, we've still had a very, very active season. The next name on the list is Gamma, the third name on the Greek alphabet list, and then Delta. We'll see if that's disturbance behind TD25 may will try to become Delta. We'll see. There is some of that potential, maybe, but we'll really just have to see right now. I have no idea if that will really happen. But again, I mean, we're pretty close. We're extremely close now to beating 2005. I do think it is pretty likely that we beat 2005. Maybe slightly less of a chance since we saw a pretty decent break since we've had all that other extreme activity over the month of September. But I think it is doable that we at the very least, tie 2005. At least if we tie 2005, that'll still be crazy to do anyway, even if we don't beat 2005 in terms of total name storms. But again, this is it for today's video, guys. Really hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I will be posting that link down in the description of this video to have you guys link to my second YouTube channel, my movie channel, where I talk everything and anything about movies. Today's video will be very, very interesting and cool. Talking about the big news, especially about the new news about the new James Bond film that was going to come out pretty soon, honestly, by next month. But again, I will put that link down in the description so you guys can click on it and consider subscribing to that channel as well. But as well, if you like this video, please consider liking the video, commenting on the video. If you're a first-time viewer, please consider subscribing to this channel. If you liked this video and like this kind of content, I do tons of this kinds of tropical content on my channel. I've done it all hurricane season, covered all of the tropical systems we've had this hurricane season. So if you like that kind of content, please consider subscribing. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.